Good morning. I hope I can get through this. I bring condolences from my family, the Mabuzas and the Suttles, and from friends in the US, Germany, Denmark, and the UK. It is with great humility and sadness that I stand before you here today. I'm not here to mourn Papa's passing. I am here to celebrate this man. He and Marina were my mentors, my role models. They were my second family. In fact, I should say because my sister, my brother, we used to go to that house for any advice we wanted. So Papa is happy where he is. He's where he wanted to be. Years back, he's always talked about he wants to be where Marina is, and that's where he is. So he decided not to celebrate his 100th birthday with us, but with her. So we thank her for bringing him home. I've come to share memories of growing up in Soweto, in Dube, next to the Maponyas. Their home became our home. Their home became our home. I wanted to share what I've learned from Papa and Mama, who we fondly called exactly that, Inele Papa le Mama. Oh Lord, how do I get through close to 50 years of knowing them in just 10 minutes, but I'm going to try. Our home reportedly was the first double-story house to be built in Soweto on Dube Drive. It was called Dumagute. It still is called Dumagute. And the Maponya house, we saw this beautiful white house going up next to our home as we were growing up and wondering whose house is that going to be. And it was the Maponya home. They called it the nest and we called it the White House. And we still call it the White House. Nearly most of my years abroad, every December 24th, made sure that my husband and I get on the phone and we sing happy birthday to Papa. Papa would laugh and say, guys, you need to go for singing lessons, La Puta. And my husband said, what did he say? I said, we're out of tune, or off tune, my friend. But that's how meticulous that man was. He could catch anything. So this December 24th, I called. My husband was not in town, so I decided to do a solo, and I was looking forward to that solo. I had practiced this time. Soli answered, and he said, hello, Fel, darling. And I said, Soli, you sound like Papa, keep Papa. But he sounded so much like Papa. And he said, no, call Papa later. But Marina and Papa Maponya always called me Fel. They never said Felicia. I laughed and said, well, I'll call back later. When I called back later, unfortunately, no one answered the phone. Somehow I had this feeling something is not right, because it was the first time I was not hearing his voice on his birthday. To celebrate some quick memories here, I was told to bring a light-hearted moment here. My sisters are also here with me. One of the journalists said to me, just give us a few nuggets about growing up next to the Maponyas. I said, you know, when you talk about that Texas expression, you go big or you go home, that was the Maponyas. And I recall Mabuza's wedding, when they came with carriages that resembled the royal family's courages. And only Papa would do something like that in Marina. In Soweto, it was the first time we'd ever seen anything like that. Step aside, Megan. Here comes Mabuzi. I was living in the United States then, one time, and I had this call from Papa and Marina, and I was worried what was happening. And they said, listen, could you kindly be so kind as to take our daughter, Bonnie, to come and stay with you? We wanted to go to school in the United States. And yes, we're more than willing to have Bonnie there. So Bonnie was like my firstborn, Lindy was secondborn, and Zanella was thirdborn then. Bonnie says, I would scold her when Lindy has messed up. Lindy always messed up. I would scold her from the time I'm driving her to school until I drop her off. She said, when Lindy has messed up, I was worried that it's going to be a long ride home. And Chichi, I used to do Marina's hair sometimes, those little hairstyle I used to do. I saw Usinkela walk in here. I used to make them look beautiful. So the day I did the ad for Black Like Me, Chichi was the one who did what I did for her mom. She did my hair and made me look beautiful. I saw Solly grow from a young man who used to dance at Zolopeli Dance School, which was a school I had established to keep young people out of the streets in the 70s. And here he is today, a spitting image of Papa Maponya. Oh, Papa was a strict boy. No one misbehaved in front of him. We all knew that when he pulled out that whip, Ari, linyaka shamboko kyalebona, we would move in every direction. Chichi, remember those days? Wena no thola shamboko haholo wena Chichi. Papa was my number one fan. I would come back after every show and sit down and say, Paps, how did it go? And I remember distinctly after one show with the Manhattans and Temptations, I came back, got to the house, and I was dancing and still singing the songs. And he looked at me, and I said, Pap, and he looked at me, what's our wena Felicia? Spring chicken. What's it? How spring chicken, man? So he would really bust your bubble when you thought you were high up there. And then another time I remember deciding to become hip and wear blue jeans on the show. I thought I was hot that day. And Papa said, I said, and then guess what? The girls then bought him blue jeans one day for his birthday. He looked at them, Edward was the gardener. But ever since Papa said that, I've never worn blue jeans again. Never dared to. I would share so many stories, but I don't have that much time. But I want to just bring you a segment of Ubuntu in business. A young lady walked into the store one time, Papa told me the story, and tried to buy groceries, but I don't think she had enough money. So she took a frozen chicken, hid it under her dress, and as she walked out, somehow I guess it got too cold, and she dropped it. And Papa happened to see it. And Papa said, ouch. He did not get her arrested. He did not call the cops. He took her into his office, counseled her, found out what the problem was, and helped that lady out. So that is what we call Ubuntu in business. And I think that lady did well after that lecture. I always believe that you cannot be what you cannot see. Papa and Mama showed us what we could be. Papa said, Ben Mabuza, my grandfather, who owned businesses in downtown Johannesburg prior to the Group Areas Act, was his role model. Driving in their Mercedes-Benz, going off to the horses with Nkele and all of them looking beautiful. I looked at these ladies standing at my gate on Dube Drive saying, one day, those are the role models we had. They epitomized hope, aspiration, promise, prosperity to us as little girls and boys growing up in Soweto. The Maponyas also used to host lavish dinners at their homes. Papa said to me, "Wabona nna ki introduce a black tie mo bathong ba Soweto. Ne ba sa itsebe bashimane ba. Ki ba bontshitse ba tla ka ditainyana tse telle tse black ke ra emon go shapa bow tie le suit." That was Papa. So at those dinners there were people like tennis star Arthur Ashe, Reverend Leon Sullivan, Congressman Charles Diggs, UN Ambassador Don McHenry, Urban League Director Sterling Tucker, singers Percy Sledge, Stella Starr, Brooke Benton. I managed to earn myself a way into those shows and also into the dinners as Maponya's #1 little girl that she was mentoring. But I was also called to become one of the screamers for Percy Sledge. So when Percy Sledge walks in and says, "When a man," and we were the one who say, "Yeah!" So I was one of those girls. It was amazing. But it was at one of those dinners that I met Charles Diggs, who gave me my first break to take me to the United States. And I wanted to look like them. I wanted to sound like them one day. And in short, what am I saying? My first break to go abroad was given to me by the Maponyas. Get close to people that you admire, young people. Talk to them, find out what drives them, how they got to where they are. And who knows, by osmosis, if nothing else, you too will be one day. Finally, one of the last meetings I will never forget is in 1991. I was working at one of the television stations in Atlanta as a commentator, and Marina and Papa took me with Boni and my sister Pam to the Mandela home. I had my first dinner with Tata Mandela. And it was that day that Tata Mandela said, "You guys need to come back home and serve your country at some point. We are going to be a free nation." And I did heed that call after his visit to the United States. So the lessons, in short, were #1. Papa would say to me, "Felicia, how about talking about businessing? When you want to become a business person, make sure you do what you really love. Be passionate about what you do. Make sure it's something that's going to make you bound out of bed." And he did. He said, "Get into business with people who have the same values and mission as you do." And he did, with his wife and his children. He said, "Be persistent and never give up on your dreams. Work to the last day," and he did. He said, "Invest back into the community that you serve." Do I need to say more? Maponya Mall and his dealerships are a typical example of someone who invested back. And finally, have Ubuntu. Because those who took you to the top will bring you down. In conclusion, I know I said it before, I want to say, when I go and visit home in Dube, and I walk down that street and see my school, Sholomani, That's my elementary school. I cannot help but think of all our neighbors down there, the Maponyas, Mabuzas, the Vundlas, Magezas, Ngubes, Gugushes, Mkabas, Pikolis, Ramusis, Plakis, Motlanas, Mutsamai, Dr Koma, Muikangwa, Sihume, Dubes, Kentes, Mudaos, Ntingilas, Mashukhani. We grew up with sheroes like Marina Maponya, Ellen Kuzwayo, Selima Motlana, Lucy Mvubelo, Winnie Mandela, my grandmother Johanna Mabuza, Mary Hall, Dr. Kluma's wife, and so many. And I say to those young girls and boys today who are role models, let us get the substance that those women had, and let us make sure that what we do is all about substance, not just social media. So, Papa, please convey our love to Marina. Tell her we miss her. Enjoy your 100th birthday with her. Tell her we still love her. President, I cannot thank you enough for the type of funeral that you and your people have given the Maponya, Dr Maponya on his last leg of his journey. He deserves it. Re a leboga. Thank you.